Hi, ERGJ, your conspiracy brother, and we're back here. So thanks so much for tuning in. We are going to be discussing the newest or the latest. Let me turn everything off. On the, what is this? On the case of Paul O'Neal. So we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to be talking about Paul O'Neal. They released some video footage from the police on Paul O'Neal. So we're going to be going through this together. Paul O'Neal was an unarmed black man that was killed or supposedly shot by the cops in Chicago. So I'm not going to get into numbers or anything tonight. Some of that stuff is a little bit too advanced for some people. We're just going to go through the story. I'm going to show you some things that I noticed. It's going to be a little questionable. But of course, the story itself is questionable. But at least we got a story to talk about. So I'm going to share my screen here. Thanks so much for joining. And we'll get right into this, looking at this story. And again, I really just like to kind of show some things that I've seen. The whole goal is to get everybody to start thinking critically as it relates to these stories that we get from the media. Because if you understand that the national media, again, I've mentioned this before, they're not entitled, they're not obligated to tell us the truth. And we know that the police aren't obligated to tell us the truth. We've seen that time and time again. But wanted to go through the story, just kind of see what we see or notice or notice about the story. So I'm going to play the video shortly. I'm not going to play it right now and wait till we get a few more people here before we start playing that. We got a couple viewers. So the Chicago police released a video tied to the shooting of an unarmed man. This is an update as of 6:15, Friday, August 5th. This reportedly took place on July 28th. So the story highlights that Paul O'Neal, 18, was fatally shot by police after a car chase. Chicago police say shooting violated protocol. So I'm going to play this video, and hopefully we won't have any ads. Probably going to have an ad, but I want to play this video. So I want you to see if you notice some things. So the first thing I want you to notice, guys, I'm going to pause it right here. First thing I want you to notice is the date, July 28th. We know that this happened on July 28th. So it's a very alarming thing that stuck out to me right away, and I'm going to show you that in just a second, and maybe you guys can help me clear it up. So this took place. They are going after this car July 28th. Now, I want you to take a notice. We said it was on July 28th. Is that correct? Yep, July 28th. Now, look up here. What date is this? From the body camera. Why does the body camera supposedly report July 29th? Immediately, that tells me something is wrong with this story. It doesn't take very long, guys. All we got to do is keep our eyes open. So this story took place. Let me go back, because I know some people that just don't understand. They continue to believe everything that they put in front of them. I continue to tell you guys, this stuff is getting sloppier by the day. So we start back here. See, none of you guys, most people won't even be able to see this stuff because they don't even look. Hey, what's going on, Trent, Ben, Don Glover? 729. 728. Which day did this happen, guys? See, once you start to believe that everything they show you is a lie, you'll be able to see the lies. So if this car chase took place 728, then why does the body camera, when they're running after the suspect, why does the suspect camera show 729? See, I'm glad we're getting this on camera, because these are the type of questions that investigators need to be asking. But of course, they all kind of work together. But this is very alarming. 728, and again, once they start running, 729. You see that? Was this overnight? Did they? Was this the part where they're actually doing the running? Was that a different date? Was it again? Was it a staged event? Is this a conspiracy? You know, did their dates not get synced up right? We're talking about high technology. Why is the dates different? Interesting. Something to think about. Of course, you guys are going to tell me I'm crazy, but I'm going to ask you, why are the dates different? It was on 7/28. Show you something else that's a little alarming. So they start to chase after some suspect. Well, we can already see that this date is different. So this happened. The chase happened on a different day, based off the dates that that the car crash happened, which tells us probably that the chase is contrived. The car crash probably happened because that was from the camera in the car, in the police car. But this chase, I'm already ready to say, before I even look any further, that this chase is contrived. It's the reason why it took them a while to come out with a video, because they was probably going through some type of psyop, controlled psyop, in order to get us this footage for the chase. And they probably didn't even notice this. They didn't think anybody would notice this. Nobody but conspiracy, brother, of course. That's why I'm here. I can't make this stuff up, guys. What's going on, Trent? Ben, Don Glover, thanks for being with me, brother. Now, notice this. Now, all of a sudden, when they have the camera on the suspect, look, the dates, they disappeared. All this stuff up here disappeared, and it went blurry as if it was edited, or maybe they just don't want to show the suspect. I'm not quite sure. But why is it all of a sudden so blurry when they have the video on top of the supposed suspect that they shot? Very, very suspect. Oh, we're going to get to that. And as soon as they pull away from the suspect, supposedly that they shot or that they ran after on 7/29, then we get the video back into its clear mode. Isn't that a little suspicious? Isn't that a little contrived? I continue to tell you guys, the stuff that's in the mainstream media is nothing more than, I'm not going to say all of it, most of it is nothing more than controlled psyops, nothing more than scripted, staged events. They have obviously scripted this part. The first part, when they're chasing in the car, probably not. A car ran into a cop car, that's fine. But this part where they're going to try to cover up what really happened, it is obviously a different day. It is obviously that they're trying to hide something. And it's not just the police. I don't want you guys to think these guys are trying to hide something. They're probably, you know, I'm talking about the people who tell them what to do. Let's go ahead and get through this video. I think I've shown enough of the video. If you guys, I can stop the video. I can stop my recording and my broadcast right now, and we can be done. Stand by, squad. All right, so I could literally stop right there and we could be done, because that's enough to prove that this is a conspiracy. But of course, you guys probably want more. Again, you probably don't believe what you're seeing. It's hard to believe that the American government will lie to you. It's very, very difficult to believe it, because you know what? We've been programmed our whole life to believe that they tell us the truth. And I continue to tell you guys, in 2012 and 2013, a law was passed that made it legal for the United States government to use propaganda. What we're looking at is propaganda against American citizens. What do they do that for? The intention is to sway public opinion. So we're going to talk about what their intention is today. What is the intention of this event? And they do that by using television, radio, newspapers, and controlled psyops. Again, I'm the crazy one. I'm the one that changed the dates on the video. Yes, I'm the one that did all that. I'm the one that made the camera stop working when it was time to get the money shot from the cops. I'm the one that did that. No. I think that you guys just want to believe the cops, and I do too. We want to believe these stories. I do too. But I realize we're beating a dead horse. No, I'm not beating a dead horse. I got sometimes, do you know how many trolls come to my page? And we have CNN and all these media. So let's get to the story. All right. So the Chicago officers were seen firing at least 15 shots at a black Jaguar. That said a lot to me, but I'm gonna keep going. As it races down a tree-lined street, the car crashes. The driver bolts. Officers chase him down a driveway between brick houses and over wooden fences. The multiple shots are heard. Now, we just saw in the video that this part where the officers chase seemed to be on a different date. Get down, hands behind your back. You shot at us, MFer. I guess that's what the cop said. Moments later, officers cursed at 18-year-old Paul O'Neal as they put him in handcuffs as he lied face down. Hands behind his back. His arms appear limp. The back of his shirt is covered in blood. I didn't see any blood on his shirt. Did you guys see any blood on that shirt? Do I need to go back? Let's go back. Of course, it was blurry, so we'll give him that. It was a little blurry, but I didn't see any blood. Did you guys see any blood?
Give me over.
They can't even get their own story straight. Where's the blood? That's the stripe on the shirt. Where is the blood? Where's the blood? Again, we can't make this stuff. Real life Hollywood, nothing but soap opera. Soap opera coming to a television station near you. Back of his shirt is covered in blood, but we see no blood. An officer holds his foot on O'Neal's leg. Another holds down a mortally wounded man's head. We saw the head down. The actual shooting, which occurred on July 28th, and I just proved to you guys that the video was taken from July 29th. Isn't that a little suspicious? Isn't seen in the footage because the officer's body camera didn't work the moment he opened fire. Now, let me ask you guys this. Aren't you tired of this story where all of a sudden, when it's time for the money shot, when it's time for the officers to prove that they're telling the American public the truth, the body cameras just stop working? They just malfunction. We're in 2016. We got phones that are very smart that can just hold up and we get Facebook Live, but for some reason, we can't get working body cameras for our police officers. Give me a break. If you guys really believe that, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you are from Mars. It just doesn't happen like that. It's, you Apple and all these places, come on. It is a reason why those body cameras never get the money shot. It's a reason why those cameras never show the killing that the officers are supposedly doing. Again, it's all about being a controlled psyop, messing with your mind. However, police say the officer who shot O'Neal in the back violated policy. Well, that's great. Maybe this time we're going to get another conviction. I'm not quite sure. The team police learned was not armed. So after all of that, he was not even armed. Not looking good for the police. Shocking and disturbing. Shocking and disturbing footage. Well, Mr. Bing Dog Lover, he asked, what are we going to do as a people? First, we got to get the people to understand that what they're watching is not true. We only got one person that is the conspiracy theorist, one person who realized that they're being lied to. You got 999,000 people who don't. It's the majority that rules. So shocking and disturbing footage. Sharon Fairley, head of the police oversight board, that release. Now, there are some things that we can do. I'll come to that in a second. I mean, we talk about petitions. We talk about obviously we got to get people to their local voter to vote locally. These people are out in the streets in Chicago instead of being at the polls to try to get the people out of office in their local government and get people that will actually protect them with the laws into government. There's got to be an overthrow of some sort, I believe. But let's go through the story and any questions you guys have. These are just my thoughts. I mean, you guys have some thoughts of what we can do. Put them in the comments. I mean, we have got the reason why I do these videos is for one, for people to see they're being lied to. But then for two, it's for those people that understand that they're being lied to actually bring their thoughts together so that we can come up with some solutions. If we don't believe that we're being lied to, then we're just going to continue to fight one another. This is trying to get us to fight against the cops, and it's probably going to be a whole bunch of craziness going on in Chicago because of this. So Sharon Fairley, head of the police oversight board that released the video, described the 6 videos as shocking and disturbing. So there's 6 videos, and we only seen 1. I wonder if we're going to see the other 5. Probably not. The teen's family saw the footage before. Well, we're probably not, because we understand the one video that they showed us they have edited. They're not showing us the truth. They're showing us whatever they did the next day to cover up. This is what they showed us. It looks like a murder. We don't see a murder on the camera. We just see someone laying on the ground with no blood. I get tired of them lying to us, man. I'm just tired of the lies and the manipulation. So the teens, well, yeah, I'm just, yeah, I know. I mean, but that's the marching. I didn't mention marching. I mentioned voting. So the teens' family saw the footage before it was released to the public on Friday. Jamal Green, the family spokesman, told CNN the relatives O'Neal's mother and sister walked out. They can only take so much, he said. Once the gunshot started, they immediately left the room crying, breaking down. Michael Oppenheimer, who's representing the family, said this was a street justice. Said that he saw what he saw was street justice, with the police playing judge, jury, and executioner. Now, this is important because we continue to see the police play judge, jury, and executioner. In all of these cases, whenever a suspect typically doesn't come back to go to court for whatever crime that they committed, that is the police, the task force, the government playing judge, jury, and executioner. There's a reason why they played executioner in this particular event. There might be something that the suspect could have said to implicate the police department. So you can ask my black people what happened to a boycott. I haven't gotten any answer yet. Yeah. Well, I believe there needs to be redirection if we're just talking about for black people. I don't necessarily think a boycott is necessary. I think that people need to start supporting those who support them. That's effectively is a boycott, but it's also still turning those dollars to support those people who are support you. That takes a conscious effort. You know how hard it is to if you've been living your life for 30, 40 years, you've been going to Wendy's for 30, 40 years, for you to say, I'm not going to Wendy's, I'm going to go to Mama Joe's. That's 2 miles further away. It takes intention, and we just don't have intention long enough to stay the course. I mean, when I go out my house now, I say to myself, I'd rather be hungry than go spend my money at an organization that will not support me or will not support these causes. I'd rather be bored than continue to send my money to the NFL or the NBA and they don't send any representation. It just takes some intention. So anyway, for those that are watching this just for the story, let me get back to this. He praised the relatively early release of the videos, but called for a special prosecutor. So we're going to get a special prosecutor, which is great. According to Oppenheimer, one officer in the video is heard saying F, now I'm going to get a 30-day suspension. Now, if this is all that this cop is worried about, after shooting an officer, shooting a civilian, shooting a kid, is a 30-day suspension, everyone knows we have a problem with our criminal injustice system. O'Neal's sister, Breonna Edwards, broke down in the news conference. I really want everybody to know that Paul was loved by his mother, his family, and me. She said, I want everybody to know that Paul had goals. O'Neal led police on a chase through the south side of Chicago. He had been suspected of stealing a car. The officer who fired the fatal shot was in the car that crashed with the Jaguar that O'Neal was driving. So this is interesting. So the officer who fired the shot, so this is how they're going to play this. The officer who fired the shot, I guess he was in the cop car that crashed. He got out the cop car after it was hurt and then ran down the guy and shot him. Doesn't that sound a little suspicious? I mean, he might have been a little injured. At any rate, whether the crash had an impact on the camera, so they're going to play it. I mean, this is very critical to the story because the cop who got hit or the cop whose car got crashed was the one who actually supposedly fired the shot to kill Paul O'Neal. Whether the crash had an impact on the camera's ability to record is under investigation. So you know what they're going to say. All of a sudden, once he got down to the money shot, when it was time to get close, his camera started malfunctioning because of the impact from the crash. You see how they're linking this? This is how they start to cover up their stories, by using the story that they give to the media. And we understand that cops will lie on their police reports to save their own butt, to protect the shield. And if you don't believe that, I don't know what country you've been living in for the past however old you are. Oppenheimer said the officer's body cam could have been shut off or manipulated. Yeah, probably. We know it was manipulated. We saw some footage in the video earlier where, all of a sudden it got blurred out. So we wouldn't see the blood on the back of the boy's shirt. This is unbelievable, man. Oh, it is unbelievable. Look at this. It is unbelievable to think that this new technology simply didn't work, he said. Fairley said that as shocking and disturbing as the video is, it's not the only evidence to be gathered and analyzed when conducting a fair and thorough assessment of the conduct of police officers in performing their duties. So let me ask you this, guys. What more do you need than the video? How much more evidence do you need than the video to see that somebody killed somebody? If it was on the other foot, and it was us, all they would need is the video. That is enough evidence to press charges, but of course, they have to protect the shield. They have to protect the force that is controlling the people. Again, I told you guys this on my previous videos. The police are not there to protect us. The police are there to protect the rich and to control the poor. So if you find yourself poor, understand, police are not there to protect you. We really surely hope that they are. They're really there to control us. 3 officers have been relieved of their police powers. O'Neal's family on Monday filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the officers, alleging that they fired at the team without lawful justification or excuse. Now, before I go any further, I know I'm gonna have some trolls on my page. And they're gonna say that the guy he stole a car, he deserved it, stuff like that. You guys are absolute idiots, and we're gonna read in the story where they talk about how they didn't comply with their police authority. So here's the deal. Here's what it's all about, guys. Chicago, a city rife with tension. The shooting was the latest to highlight the already tenuous relationship between some of the communities and police. Many in the nation's 3rd largest city are still reeling from the 2014 Laquan McDonald shooting, which left a Chicago officer facing a murder charge after more than a year-long delay in releasing dashboard camera footage. Earlier this year, a task force established by the mayor released a report accusing the police of widespread racism. So this would tell us to look at the shooting that happened with Laquan McDonald. They're linking the story for us. This is what they do in the media. They leave little clues. So the shooting of Laquan McDonald occurred October 20th, 2014 in Chicago, when McDonald was shot 16 times in 13 seconds by police officer Jason Van Dyke from approximately 10 feet. Police were called to the scene and reports of a person carrying a knife in his hand. Video of the shooting captured one police cruiser's dashboard cam was released to the public on November 24, 2015. They released the footage 13 months after this shooting occurred. Can you believe that? This is the police that we are paying with our tax dollars, releasing footage from evidence from a shooting that took place over a year and some months later. Only after they had to get several independent investigators demanded release of the records. So Mr. Doglover, I would say we have to have independent investigators who are for the people, who we pay, and they go in and do an independent investigation. That the police cannot police themselves. They've shown that they work together. We need independent investigators, independent review boards or something. We have to put something in place for this criminal justice system that's outside of the system itself. And I think that might be hard to do, but it's worth it. So Van Dyke was charged with first-degree murder a few hours after the video was released. After turning himself into the authorities, he was initially ordered held without bail, but released on November 30th. So 6 days after he turned himself in, or whenever he turned himself in, he was back out on the streets on bail. There have been several, so I'll read past that, but I want to show you guys what happened, or this last part of this. It's down here somewhere. So with this trial, this Van Dyke case, the Laquan McDonald case, was the first time a Chicago police officer had been charged with first-degree murder for an on-duty fatality in nearly 35 years. One time in 35 years has there ever been a case where a police officer was charged with murder or first-degree murder. So getting back to the story. So this might be a case from 2004. That'll be 5 years almost, or 3 years. 2 years, 2 years, 2 years where we may have another, indictment. Now, indictment doesn't necessarily mean that they've been charged. I mean, that they went to jail. They're just waiting on the trial. So understand that. So we're still waiting on the trial from this case. I don't know when that's going to happen, but he's facing 20 years to life. But the case hasn't, the trial hasn't happened yet. So Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson, in a statement Friday, vowed full cooperation in the investigation by the Independent Police Review Authority. So it will be imperative of us to look and see what this Independent Police Review Authority does. I don't want to waste your time, so I'll So I'll keep moving. That's very simple. You don't need it, don't buy it. But that's, you know, so he said, we got a viewer here saying he understands his idea is very simple. If you don't need it, don't buy it. Yeah, if we can get people to buy into that. But unfortunately, people don't, it hasn't hit enough people in the heart yet. You know what I mean? It happened in Chicago, right? So if you are in California, yeah, you probably like, oh, another one happened and you're sad, but you're not going to change your lifestyle. That's the problem. Not enough of us come together to stay the course with the movement. Too many people, it's not a movement, it's a moment. They want change for 3 days, but then they want to get back to their regular way of living remember, these people, we've all built our life. The way that we're living our life right now, we built it over time. So to change the way that we're living, to change where we spend our money, to change where we support, that is, that's a condition that has to be broken down and been changed. It's got to be enough. People don't change when they see the light. People change when they feel the heat. Let me repeat that again. That's from George Fraser. People don't change when they see the light. People only change when they feel the heat. And not enough people are feeling the heat, but they're going to feel the heat because the things that we're seeing is only going to enhance. It's only going to be more of it. You got to understand what the ultimate agenda is. They want to exterminate us. Don't you understand? They keep talking about population control. They want to get rid of enough people not off of just the United States, in the world, so they can control them. You guys don't understand how big this is. Most people don't, and they think I'm talking crazy. But it's enough evidence out there that states what it is that I'm saying. You guys can look that up on your own. My promise to the people: the only way we're going to win, the only way we're going to overcome is if all the poor people get together and say enough is enough. And I'm not just talking about poor black people. I'm talking about poor people, whoever has debt. Enough of us, black, white, Hispanic, whatever, get it together and say enough is enough. That's the only way I believe that we're going to actually have some real change. They own and control everything that we do. They own and control everything that we buy. They own and control everything that we see, hear, and touch. They own and control the government. They own and control the school system. They own and control the financial sector, the banks. They own and control religion. They own and control your food. They own and control you for the most part, unless you are a free thinker, unless you've gotten yourself outside of the matrix. So my promise to the people of Chicago is that we will be guided by the facts, and should wrongdoing be discovered, individuals will be held accountable for their actions, as the statement said. The shooting of Mr. O'Neal has raised a lot of questions about whether department policies were followed. Now, here's the thing, guys. It didn't take this for us to raise a lot of questions. We've been raising a lot of questions. We will not wait to look for ways we can learn. We will not wait to look for ways we can learn from this incident. When Johnson attempted to read the statement to reporters outside police headquarters, a small group of protesters interrupted. There's no need to say anything, a young woman said to the superintendent, who eventually gave up and returned to headquarters without uttering a word. She's right. There's no need to say anything. You know what I mean? How much more do we need to say? Stop killing us. I mean, what else needs to be said? You know what? It's time out for speeches. It's time out for apologies. You know, we need to overthrow our police department. Now, I would say overthrow the government, but I don't want to. I'll get killed for saying that. So we need to overthrow our police department. We need a total transformation of our police department. The officers had received their body cams 8 to 10 days before shootings. Here's another excuse. They're gonna say, oh, we didn't test or whatever 8 to 10 days before shooting as part of a pilot program. Why are you guys just now implementing a pilot program in Chicago? Do you see how stupid this is? You see how ignorant they believe the American people are to believe this stuff? This is Chicago, the third largest city in the world, in the country, and you're just now implementing 8 to 10 days a pilot program for body cameras. We just talked about in 2014, Laquan McDonald was shot. You guys think that we're absolutely this stupid, and they do. They think that American public is not going to sit here and read this like we are. They think the American public is going to watch the video, going to snap to judgment, just like they're watching TV, and going to go off instead of reading things and thinking things critically. Read. I tell you, police cannot legally shoot fleeing suspects. Here you go. Here's your response to the people who say that he deserved it. police cannot legally shoot fleeing suspects unless they pose a threat to an officer's life or unless the officer has good faith belief the suspect poses a substantial danger to the public. Now, he was outside of his car. He didn't have a gun. So how we can, I don't think it's possible for him to say he posed a substantial danger while he was in the car, maybe. So, and department policy prohibits firing into a moving vehicle when the vehicle is the only force used against a sworn member of another person. So there's your backing as to what the cops did wrong. Deep-seated distrust of law enforcement continues to plague relations between police and some Chicago communities. In 2014, McDonald, a black teen who was walking away from officers with the knife in his hand, was shot 16 times by a police officer. It took more than 400 days for the release of the body cam footage, and this officer, Jason Van Dyke, is facing murder and misconduct charges. He's pleaded not guilty. So there was another word that they used, and I don't think they use it in the updated version of the story. They used the word civil unrest, so that the cops were saying, hey, we got to watch out for civil unrest. And I wanted to make sure we talk about what that is as well. So civil disorder, or also known as civil unrest, is a broad term that is typically used by law enforcement to describe unrest that is caused by a group of people. Civil disorder is also described as any public disturbance involving acts of violence by assemblages of 3 or more persons, which cause an immediate danger or results in damage to or injury to the property of or person of any other individual. During civil disorder, people generally choose not to observe a certain law, regulation to rule. This is usually to bring attention to their cause or concern. Civil disturbance can include a form of protest against major socio-political problems. It is essentially to break down an orderly society. Look at this. They want to keep order out of chaos. Order out of chaos. If you don't know what that means, again, watch some other videos, of which examples can include illegal parades, illegal parades, sit-ins, riots, sabotage, and other forms of crime, even on occasions where it's typically intended to be a demonstration to the public or the government. Such can escalate into general chaos. Order out of chaos. So now let's talk about this for a second. So what, if we say that, if we can agree to say there, obviously there's something contrived about what they're showing us. Obviously, I've proven that we had a video that's showing 728 for the car that was driving, but then when they went on to the let me play this real quick. So look at this, 728, they're in the car. But when they are on foot, it's 729. 2 different dates. So if we can say, hey, this is a little contrived, why would they do this? That's what people ask. Why would they do this? Well, you got to understand the ultimate agenda. The ultimate agenda is to have the poor people. Because again, nothing happens to the rich people. They want the poor people in an uproar. They want the poor people fighting one another. They want the poor people going to war against the cops, the war that they can't win. They want a civil war. It's not a race war, guys. Some people don't understand. It's not about a race war. It's not about white cops against black lives. It's about blue lives versus black lives. And they understand that if they have black lives that matter going up or fighting against the blue lives that matter, then the other lives, the all lives that matter, are going to side with the blue lives. That's going to cause more death, more conflict, more chaos. Now, while we're going through chaos, if we don't use our heads and understand that that's what they want us to do, and if we don't respond that way, but if we do, they're going to bring in order. Now, what kinds of things will they bring order in? If there's chaos going on in the country, what types of things can they do to bring order? Number one, they can pass some laws, which we've seen. There's Blue Lives Matter law that passed on August 1st in Louisiana. There are more Blue Lives Matter laws that are trying to be passed as we speak in other parts of the country. What else can they do? They can enact a state of emergency if it gets too chaotic. State of emergency means that you'll have curfew, you'll have police walking the streets at all points of time during the day. They'll be in shifts. And guess who pays for those police? You do, with your taxpayers' money. Then if it gets even further more conflict, because if you put someone under a state of emergency, that's going to infuriate people even more. Then they can move to what they call martial law. If we get to a state of martial law, because people will not get along, people will not work together, they're going to fight because they are working out of emotion and not actually looking at stuff like this and noticing that this is nothing but a contrived, not let me say nothing. The story that they are presenting to us is contrived. I'm not saying that Paul O'Neal didn't die. What I'm saying is what they're showing us and how he died is not the truth. If they can get us to a point of martial law, then what happens is that will cause the American citizens to lose their citizenship, lose their rights as citizens, which means that they have even more control over the American citizens. What happens after that? That's when you'll start to see more things coming into play, like the Zika virus. Well, now that they have control over you, they can make you sick. And making you sick, they'll say that, hey, and if you have to follow our rules, you got one or two options. You can take this vaccine, which is going to help prevent this Zika virus, which ultimately we know what's in that vaccine. It's not just the Zika virus. They're also going to put a chip in you. Or if you don't take this vaccine, then you're going to have to be in a place of quarantine, FEMA camps. These are the things that are coming down the pike. If the American public continues to fight one another, continues to bicker, continues to operate in conflict, how they want you to do. My advice is to come together, think together, and start to put some things in place that you can come against those who are oppressing the poor people. It's not about black and white. It's about rich versus poor. And what they're trying to do is continue to have more conflict stirred up so that we'll continue to fight one another. This is the reason why I do these videos, guys. I want you guys to see that they lie to you in your face. But not only do they lie to you, they leave you with some clues to find the truth. The truth is hidden in plain sight, but most people won't read. What most people will do is watch the video and make a judgment from the video. They won't even analyze the video. It's just like a movie to them, and they believe the movie. What I think I was able to do today was to show you that that the movie that they're showing us is a lie. It's real life Hollywood. They're bringing a soap opera to your life and want you to believe the soap opera. It's just like WWE. It's just like reality TV. I'm not saying that Paul O'Neal didn't die. What I'm saying is how he died is probably in those other 5 videos that the American public probably won't be able to see. The video that they showed us is not the truth. The video that they showed us is from a different day. They probably missed that, but we caught it, and it's on video. So, Chicago, what you going to do now? Are you going to show us, give us the real evidence? Or are the American people going to have to continue to come against you in this system that you have to control the people? Well, at any rate, guys, this is ERGJ, your conspiracy brother. I thank you so much for your comments and your ideas. I mean, we need each other. That's the only way we're going to come up with a plan. You got to understand that these people have been doing this. The elite, the people who own and control our society, who run our society, they've been running our society since they came over in 1492. They've been thieves their whole time. They stole the land from the Indians. They stole slaves from Africa. It's been going on for a long time. We're just now coming together and seeing these secrets of how they've been running this country. And it's not just this country, it's worldwide. Of course, we came from Britain. So you know that Britain is in on it as well. So don't think this is just United States. We're talking about the people who come together, United Nations. We're talking about the rulers of all of these lands. They work together. There's a couple that don't. Obviously, those are the people we're going to go to war with. North Korea, we're trying to go to war with them. Why? Because we want to own and control them. Why do we go to war against Vietnam? Because we wanted to own and control them. You got to understand this is about total world domination. What are we going to do today, Brain? The same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try and take over the world. Most people think that's just a cartoon, but this is how these sick people operate. So anyway, I'm ERGJ. Thanks so much for your time. Check out my other videos. You want more information on some of this stuff. I'll break numbers down and stuff, but I'm going to start breaking numbers down to most of you guys because most of you guys, I'm just going to give you the raw, hard truth right from the story. And, you know, as we come together, guys, we'll be able to find truth. Let your curiosity be pricked. because it's your curiosity that's going to lead you to search for truth. And if you seek, then you'll find. And if you find the truth, then it's the truth that's going to set your mind free, and you can break free of the matrix. Have a good night.